See how fast I ran? Okay, keep it going for the show and for Julie, everybody. I cannot stress this enough. I am actually doing stand-up right now. This is not a sketch. I changed into my dolphin shirt. So as to indicate, I'm serious about these yucks I'm about to throw at you. Okay, so like 12 years ago, very famous, television personality, recording artist, water polo enthusiast, opened a restaurant in my hometown. I am, of course, talking about William J. Drayton, better known as Flava Flav. Flava Flav opened a chicken and ribs joint in my hometown. It was cleverly titled Flava Flav's Chicken and Ribs. And when the restaurant opened, there was an article in the newspaper announcing that opening night of this restaurant, Flava Flav would be there, greeting his fans. And I read this, and I showed the article to my mother, and I said, "Mom, we have to go to this." I expected some pushback from my mother. I received zero pushback from my mother. So we go there, and there he was, Flava Flav, in all his glory, clock, and everything. And we went inside. He greeted my family and I like we all fought in a war together. Like he greeted us with the joyful intensity of like someone I stormed Normandy with. He was just like, hey y'all, thank you so much for coming. Seriously, it means so much. And he gave me a hug, he gave my brother a hug, he gave my mom a hug. And we went and got our food and ate it, and here's what I'll say about the food. It was so good. It was so good that when we were done and it was time to go, we felt compelled to tell him we were leaving, you know? We're good Midwestern people. So we were like, Flav, you can call me that. We're taking off. Like, thank you so much. This was great. And again, he was like, well, all right, well, thank you so much for coming. I really hope you like the food. It really means so much. He gave me another hug. He gave my little brother an eyes closed hug. And then he hugged my mother. And I watched him hug my mom, pull like halfway out of the hug, and then he gave her a little, like right on the top of her ear. And then she died 10 years later. My mom, not yours. I'm not saying the two are related. I'm not saying the two are unrelated. No, that's not how she died. She didn't die from Flava Flav's curse. She died doing what she loved, protecting her eggs from a hungry barracuda. Okay. Some of you have seen that movie. For the longest time, that was like my biggest fear growing up, was having to deal with the passing of a parent. And 2 years ago, I dealt with that shit. It happened in real time. Moved on from it. And I guess this is just my my roundabout way of saying congrats to spiders, back on top, you know? It's spiders in the one spot of greatest fears now. Sudden loss of a parent at number 2. My dad's still around, you know? Easy transition to number 3, my dad. That dude's terrifying. And then, yeah, it's sharp objects and commitment battling it out for that last playoff spot. We'll see who wins. After she died, we had to go through the whole house and like go through all of her stuff and figure out, what are we keeping, what are we getting rid of, what's a keepsake, what's garbage. Cleaning out my childhood home following the sudden passing of my mother was traumatizing enough without my father referring to her perfume as women's juice. But for some reason, he felt the need to do that on a number of occasions. At one point, he walked into the living room just like cradling 6 of them, like it was like a big newborn baby. And he looked at me and he was like, hey, would your girlfriend want any of this women's juice? And finally I pulled him aside and I was like, Dad, hey, listen. It's been a rough week for all of us. We're still reeling, you know? And I can excuse a lot of things, but you have got to stop saying women's juice. It's bad enough I'm finding baby teeth everywhere. All over the house, in different receptacles. I found a little bell with my older brother's initials on them, and I picked it up and I thought, oh, that's cute. Cute little bell. Ring-a-ding-ding? Nope. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Did not want to get rid of that. Although, like, when it came time to like dump a bunch of shit out, my dad was like way eager to do so. At one point, he walked up the hallway carrying like a bunch of walking sticks, and he said to me as he walked by, he went, "I've hated these for 20 years." So, and he just like chucked them out the front door. This has definitely brought us closer, my dad and I. We talk a lot more. He likes to give me all kinds of advice. Recently, he told me that I should get a stage name. We were driving in the car together, and after like 20 minutes of silence out of nowhere, he says to me, I don't think you should use your real name on stage. I said, absolutely, let's talk about this. He said, I think you should use your middle name and your grandmother's maiden name. I said, yeah, Dad? David what? That is a good name. Maybe, if I want to fuck on camera. Not something I'm super interested in at this juncture. Maybe at a different juncture. I'm always looking for new junctures. Okay. After that, he told me he had a girlfriend, and then he took me to Dairy Queen. So, he was like, I'll tell the boy, but how would I do it if he was 12? And he knocked it out of the park. So he likes to give me career advice. He called me the other day, and I said, hello? And he said, how clean's your act? And I said, oh, you know, I say what you say. And he said, semen, incredible start. An amazing start. He said, semen flies up the penis at 28 miles an hour. And I've got some questions. One, how do we know that? And two, why do we know that? And I said, Dad, honestly, you're asking all the right questions. I do need 2 months written notice before you say the word semen flies out the penis to me. 3 if it's over the phone. I would almost prefer man's juice. And after we hung up, he texted me and he said, I have a third question. Is this the case with all semen/penises? Or is it an average? Then, if an average, how many were tested? And finally, who holds the record? I texted back, weird day I'm having. And he said, new day tomorrow. So I guess there's hope. That's it for me. Thank you, everybody.